Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Simply Spooky, broadcasting through the Simply Spooky channel this evening on a Wednesday evening. And for tonight, we've got a great guest for you all the way from across the pond, our dear friend, Mr. Ross Allison. And it's always a pleasure to have Ross here. Ross, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Thank you very much. Very good indeed. As is Viv, I believe, aren't you, Viv?
I'm being harassed by a cat. Bear with me.
Unceremoniously pick him up and plonk him down, poor little fella. So I'm going to say a few hellos to everybody who's in the chat. Irene, I hope you're doing well over there in Japan. I hope everything's good. Hi, Eric. I hope you're doing well there, buddy. Mr. Subby, I hope you and your good lady wife are doing well. I already said hello to young Eric. Mr. And Subby, Irene. I hope you and your good lady wife are doing well.
Sorry, that was me. That was me.
Annette, I hope you're doing well.
It's the ghosts.
It's a ghost in the machine, as they say. Right, so that'll get that out of the way for a little bit. And I got one snuck in there under the radar. Hello, Brian. I hope you are doing well this evening. So yes, so we have got the one and only Mr. Ross Allison here, one of my favourite people and one of Viv's as well. And it's always a delight to have him on. Great to have you here, Ross.
Send me the bill for saying all that, just so you know.
I'll send you the bill. Make sure you get the bill. No problem at all. So
He's all right.
You know Ross now. Should I do an introduction to Ross, or should I get Ross to do a little introduction about himself?
You do it now.
Well, you know Ross. He's one of the type of people. I love Ross for the simple reason that A, he's a really lovely guy, but B, he's done something that a lot of people have only sat on their asses, including myself, and talked about. He's actually taken the envelope of paranormal and pushed it, and he's got it to the point where he's brought a program out. Was it Naked? Was it? I can't remember the name of the program. What was it? Ross, remind me.
Parasite. Parasite. The naked experiments.
Exactly. So he's proved. I believe he's proved touch by utilising that program. He's brought it all to the attention of the public, and he's made great headway with that. And obviously, he is now. I'm not going to talk too much, and I'm sure Ross won't want to divulge too much. But he's also making headway with other experiments and other stuff that is running down the pipeline at the moment. So, Ross, how are you doing? You good? Yes.
I'm doing good. Yes.
Excellent.
Definitely.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear.
They will say if you're 6 feet above ground, it's always a good day, right?
It is. It is indeed. Or so I'm told. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you think you might be better off being 6 feet below when you look at this world. I don't know. I don't want to push it too much.
I hear
you. So what
I've got a loading error. So guys in the chat, if you have any issues, I'm aware of it and I will get onto it. So please don't panic.
A loading issue?
Yes.
That doesn't sound good. You've had a few gremlins of the works today, Viv, haven't you?
It's been my turn. It's been my turn.
So, Ross, sorry, I'll get around to you again. What have you been up to recently? Are you still going ahead with the Parasite stuff? You're still pushing that? And,
I'm always continuing to do experiments any chance I have. So that's always going to be something that we're continuing to try and get as much data as possible. Because as you know, in the paranormal field, it's all about being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As we often find ourselves. So, yes, I'm going to see what we got here. Let's just see if we questions. So Irene says, hi, Ross.
Hello.
Irene. Yeah, I need new Barrow too. I don't know what that's related to. Barrow? I don't know what you're on about, Bri. Have you been smoking the funny fags again, Bri? Put them down, Bri. It's not coming across that well. Put them back down, Bri. Get out there, get some fresh air, and get back to the drink. Right, so... What have you got? Can you divulge anything that you've got coming up in the future that you're working on or that you're looking to?
Well, right now, as we're getting ready for the Halloween season,
yes, definitely,
I'm going to be doing a feature for, I know this doesn't mean anything for you guys, but Fox 13, which is a more public newscast. So they're going to be following me and Chad from Parasense. They want to promote the documentary. They thought it was pretty awesome. So
that's cool.
They're doing a story on us. So we got that's going to be airing in Halloween. Let's see. Again, always filming experiments, doing that. working on a couple books. Besides just the paranormal stuff, for those who don't know, I'm also a game designer. So I do have a game coming out the first of the year. If anybody's into anime and deck building, I actually produced or designed the number 6 in the series, Tentokore. So it is Memento Mori, and it's more
Nice.
of a haunted element. So you inherit a haunted mansion, and you're trying to complete the mansion and keep the ghosts at bay. So there's that I'm working on, and it's coming out.
That's cool.
So is that an actual game, like online game thing, or what?
They do have the Tentokore online on Steam, so you can actually play it there. But I actually did. I was involved in the expansion 5, which was Winter Romance. So that was. I'm responsible for bringing butlers into the game. If anybody is aware of the game, it was mostly just maids, and so I brought butlers into the game. So there's that. And then of course my personal, which is Memento Mori. But there are the first 2 games are on Steam, and I actually am in the game as well, and I voiced my character, so you can actually hear me talking in the game.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Good.
Yeah.
And also, you're king of Lego, aren't you?
I am a huge Lego fanatic.
Dad,
you've got a vast collection of Lego.
We've got to take him to that Lego store in Leicester Square.
Oh, yes.
You have to queue around the corner, though, to get in.
It's well worth it,
the queue
though.
himself. We'll go and get him at
well
McDonald's
worth
while
it.
he's in there.
It's well worth it. It's getting him back out there. It's going to be a problem, though, isn't it?
It can get pretty bad for me. I was just going to say, I can turn off the virtual background, and you can actually see a little bit of my Lego back there.
Oh, wow.
Ah.
So, yeah, so there's my little the roller coasters that they have.
I'm not impressed with that. I prefer the Muppets Theatre, actually.
The Muppets Theatre? Cool. Yeah, I do have that.
That was very cool.
That's in a glass cabinet, so I can't bring that out, unfortunately.
If ever you move home, how do you do it? I mean, that's an awful lot of kit to be breaking down, and it's got to be done piecemeal, isn't it, surely? You have to take it apart in sections, haven't you? And then just move it all off.
Well, when I first moved the first time, before we moved into the smaller place, I actually had a nice big dining room table, and I had it all set up, a whole city set up. So, yeah. And then I had to take that all apart. So right now they're just in pieces, the modular buildings, which are my favorites.
I think you're missing a trick here. Never mind about ghost hunting, spooked in Seattle, and all that sort of thing. You need a Lego, like we've got over here, like a Lego park that you can go and visit with all the Lego pieces. You need to have your own.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
You've got enough to fill it, I think.
In Seattle.
I'll tell you what.
I can show you something really cool. Hopefully I don't break it, but
oh God,
please don't break it.
Please don't break it.
It'll be Viv's fault if it does.
Fuck off, Dan.
That's not fuck off. Wow.
Oh God.
Yeah, do you know what this is?
That is super cool.
This is the Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
Yeah, and the design, the exterior design was actually online, and it was so bad. I actually went through and redid the whole thing. So you got the hole inside, the bride, the portraits, Madame Leota as a floating crystal ball.
That is cool.
That's so cool.
That is so cool.
Can you put that down before you break it or drop it? Because then I'd feel so bad.
See, I'm not people that go up to 2 bits and I'm confused. I don't know which goes where.
Do you know what? We could help, Ross, right? Legoland Seattle.
You may help.
I'll just sit in the booth and sell tickets. Yeah, that's
we can't help this. We can't help ourselves.
We come and do summer camp over at your Legoland Seattle version.
Yes, that the Lego is actually just my creative way to just relax. It's kind of like how some people love to do puzzles and stuff like that. It's just relaxing to me. It takes a lot of that stress off. Just building and
Do you know
having a
what?
creative outlet.
If I win the lottery, I'll come and help you build Legoland, but we'd have to do it on the
Cool,
side of
wouldn't
one
it?
of your mountains.
Cool,
We could
wouldn't
do
it?
something like a Lego
Anytime.
cable car. We could do Lego cable car to take people up and down.
There was a guy online, wasn't there, who built a 3-bedroom house out of Lego as an experiment.
Yeah, and then they had to tear it down because it was not to code. Unfortunately,
that's it. Yeah, that was it. But it's
it'd be cool, believe me.
It's such cool stuff.
There's been Lego coffins.
People
have been buried in Lego coffins and all that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
No, Dan, you're not having
Lego
one.
coffin. No, it'd be an awful lot of Lego bricks, but it'd fit me in, wouldn't it?
I'm just going to see if this. See, I'm having an issue with my Facebook. I don't know why.
What's your Facebook doing now, Viv?
I've got an. I don't know what it's doing. Let me see if I can message the said person.
You're still trying to get hold of this. What's it? Eric says someone else with too much time on his hands.
Ooh.
Well, you know what the devil does with idle hands? He always finds work for it. So it's better off that you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, if I'm not writing or doing research, it's like and believe me, I haven't even had time to do any building for a while. So
actually, you've made a good point there. A question I'd like to ask you: what other books are you working on at the minute, and when will they be coming out?
Well, I'm a little behind. I have to be honest, just because I was working on so many different other projects, especially promoting Parasense. That really took a lot of time. I'm right in the middle of my haunted theme amusement parks that I'm working with David Weatherly to go with the haunted series. So I'm in the middle of that, and I'm also in the middle of Parascience, the one that me and Chad were working on together based off of our research from Parasense.
And that's going pretty well, is it? Or
it is. It's we wanted to put a lot of the research that we've discovered from doing Parasense out there, because one of the biggest things that we've learned is a lot of the equipment that ghost hunters are dependent on are really not good for us. Even the EMF detectors that most ghost hunters are dependent on are not even sensitive enough or even fast enough to pick up a lot of the readings we were able to get during Parasense.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I'll be honest with you, a lot of it's crap, isn't it? A lot of the stuff that we've been using over the years.
It is, and we can make a whole show about that if we wanted to.
Yes, exactly. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
The do's and don'ts in the paranormal field.
People won't thank us, they won't believe us.
Well, it's one of those things that once they see the data, and that's the whole reason with Parasense.
Oh, Ross, you gone?
Oh, you've turned your mic off, Ross. Click that little icon in the box.
Oh, there's definitely gremlins in there.
Oh, I don't think I'll be able to do it. Hang on, let me see if I can.
Can you do it, Viv? I can't.
No. Your mic isn't... There we go.
There you go.
I'm like unplugging my mic going, what the hell?
I'm glad you're back. I thought I'd gone deaf.
So what was I saying? I forgot now.
You took. Do you know
a lot of people would hate us, I said.
Yeah. And then it was about the books. And it was, you're working on the stuff you're working on, I think.
Yeah, it's just I haven't, had a lot of time to do a lot just because of the promoting of Parasense and then doing a few other jobs, especially with getting the game ready for the first quarter release. So have that, and then just doing I'm just one of those guys that's got a bunch of different little projects going on, and since I've expanded from the paranormal doing game design, that's opened a few other doors too for me.
Robert said you were talking about paranormal tools and how rubbish they were.
I think actually.
The tools, yes. The tools, yeah. So it just right now, as I said, it's just the biggest problem is most people are getting their education off of television shows, and
Yeah.
people tend to forget that these
Yeah.
television shows are made for entertainment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of magic of editing and making things look better, or even falsifying things just to tell a better story.
Yeah.
And it's sad too, because when we were promoting Parasense and getting it out there, it's you kind of wonder, is the audience too far gone? Are they really going to accept science rather than the pseudoscience and the suggestive evidence that they're used to when watching a lot of these shows?
I must admit, literally 5 minutes into watching that, Dan and I were sitting there with our mouths wide open.
Yeah.
And you had our full attention at the point of that young girl in the chair. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. It was like, and at that point, I could not talk anymore. I just had to watch right until the end. And then there was about 1 million questions, and I still have questions, but they're in the back of here somewhere. Lots and lots and lots of questions. Yeah, it was just mind blowing. That's all I can say. And it should, and it has shaken up the paranormal community, whether they are willing to accept it and go with a new way of thinking, or they just stay stuck and do what they've done all the time, and don't progress. It's up to them.
Well, I
personally want to progress, so.
Right. Well, I find that the biggest problem we have in the paranormal field is that, and I hate to use this term, but there's far too many lazy ghost hunters. They want the instant gratification. They don't want to actually do the work in watching the videos that they've recorded or listening to the audio that they recorded. They want that, oh, it's happened. This is it. This is my proof that I need. Yeah. And it's a lot more than just that, pulling out a ghost app and hopefully speaking directly to a ghost and hearing an instant result, because they don't seem to understand that a lot of these apps that they're dependent on are manipulating the ghost hunters.
Yeah.
Because, they have, pre-recorded audio and all this stuff in there that will just trigger whenever it's needed.
I agree. I think the problem is
message. So bear with me. I'll be with you soon.
I think the problem is it's immediate gratification, isn't it? And I think the thing is that they live their investigations. Everything seems to be titillation. It seems to be excitement, and I think that they're not going to want to look into the science of the project. I think they're more interested in looking into an element like TV shows that gives them the feeling they're going to get that immediate gratification, and they're going to get that if you like, that impact jab.
Right. It's boring for people. The ones and zeros are boring for people. Yeah. And especially if they don't understand the basics concepts of simple science. It's a situation where they're afraid of it.
Yeah, and I agree.
And they don't the thing is with Parasense, we were still able to throw in a lot of that spooky stuff that does happen. It happens when you're doing these investigations. The startling things will happen. The EVPs will happen. The strange noises will happen. That stuff does happen.
I have to give you a message, Ross.
Yes.
So somebody was going to come on and just mess around with you for a little while. But there's been an electricity outage, and he's trying to preserve his phone battery as much as possible. But he apologises, and his name is Rob Demarest.
Oh, Rob, yes.
We could get him on to wind you up.
Yeah, we were going to get him on to wind you up, but it's not worked out. Oh, he said something else. Hang on, what was he saying?
Oh, well, tell him I said hi. It would have been nice to have chatted with him.
He's heading your way. Shh.
I'm assuming he's heading up to Vancouver, Canada.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he'll come and visit you.
Oh, yeah,
he'll see you soon.
So, no, that'd be awesome. But, as I said, I just want to help people understand that the wool does get pulled over our eyes as an audience when we are dependent on a lot of these shows, because they don't realize that these networks and production companies are spending millions of dollars, and if you produce a show that's boring, then it's no good to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they need the excitement. They need to have to find something. And as we know, being in the paranormal field, it doesn't always happen. Most of the time, it doesn't happen, It's numerous investigations, spending numerous nights in some of these places to hopefully get some good stuff.
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
And it
is
frustrating because sometimes people judge you on the fact that, oh, you didn't get anything, so you must not be a good ghost hunter.
So, Ross, what do you think about people that say the way forward for paranormal investigating is by use of ITC and ITC alone? Do you think that that's sort of going backwards a little bit?
It's a situation where as the technology becomes simpler and simpler for people to utilize, it gets easier and easier for those developing it to manipulate the situation.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put together a voice app, like a Spirit Box app out there, and it's not producing any results, no one's gonna buy it. No one's going to spend their money, to purchase something that they don't seem to be getting results. So that's why, the apps that do seem to manipulate the audience, they get more and more popular because they're giving the audience the results they want.
Right.
Do we really believe that speaking to ghosts is really that easy? If it was that easy, and understand, radio communication, that experiment, it goes back into the 60s, 50s and 60s, I believe, when they believed that spirits could communicate through dead radio stations.
Yeah.
It has not been documented well enough, and of course there hasn't been enough experiments to validate that. Who's to say somebody was just catching a dead radio signal coming through, with various words. But the fact of the matter is, if spirits could have done that all these years, we would have had that direct communication.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree.
Now we're in a situation where people are dependent on spirit boxes. In fact, that's pretty much their whole investigation. If they're not getting anything exciting, I've seen this on shows a lot. If things aren't getting exciting, they're not getting anything, they'll pull out the spirit box.
I agree. And I think the thing with these TV shows and with the equipment is what it's done is it doesn't really give you anything apart from blanks, and then you fill them in yourself.
Exactly.
So these messages are coming directly from you because that's what you want, So anything is perceived as some form of communication, even when it's not.
All right. Now, the one thing that, I want to express to people is, even when it comes to that technology and the experiments that people are doing when it comes to spirit boxes, I'd be more open to if somebody was using a spirit box and it was just, scanning through dead air, dead signals and stuff like that, rather than going through all these constant radio signals. Because when you're asking questions like, oh, how old are you? You know how often these radio shows are, doing their call? Yeah, it's like you're going to eventually hear that. Or the situation is when you ask a question, shouldn't the answer be right away? But no, you sit there and wait until something makes sense to you.
Yes.
As the listener.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's when it's selective hearing, is you're actually waiting till you hear something that makes sense to you. But and that's how it works.
What's wrong with good old-fashioned voice recorders and playing it back and see if
I hear you. EVP is one of the most amazing things out there that we can capture that we still don't have all the answers for. There's something to that. When you're in a controlled environment and you're going by the protocols, being completely quiet, reporting all the sounds that you hear and all the sounds that you make. But when you ask that direct question and you get a direct answer, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
You know, the things that people don't understand. You know, I've always said, if we're going to use spirit boxes as proof to the paranormal, there's a lot more work and research that needs to be done to validate these experiences. For one, you're going to have to record every radio station playing at that time. So when you do have an EVP or an EVP, RVP is what it should be called, radio voice phenomena. That is the correct term. Goes back to the textbook days. If you do get an RVP, and you correctly, you know, date and, you know, and time, you should be able to go to that, you know, go through all the radio stations playing at that time and at that moment, and at least be able to verify, oh, it wasn't any of these,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
radio stations.
yeah.
That's the one thing that would hopefully help if you're going to use that phenomena as proof to the paranormal. That's a lot of work
I agree.
to have
And
to
what
record every radio station that's playing that night, you know,
I
and
agree.
then, you know, time it just right to what you claim to be the answer to your question, and make sure no other radio station's playing that or said that at that moment. That's the biggest thing, you know, if you're going to try and prove that phenomena, but no one wants to do that work.
No, and it surprises me how often the answers that you receive, or they receive, that they argue blind is from spirit, has got exactly the same voice pattern as a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know, it's like, no. And then I've even heard where they're utilising the DJ's voice box. So they're taking words from the DJs. Like, well, how far do you want to push this?
Right.
Before there's no credibility to it. How far do you really want to push this? Because I think you've gone way beyond the point where you should have just hung it up and gone, look, no more, this is crap. You know? But you, like me, I mean, I'm sure Viv's the same. In fact, I know Viv's pretty much the same, that your perception of things have changed. So from when you started initially doing this and through the years, and maybe like me, maybe there's one or 2 points you've got to where a light bulb's gone on, and you think, hang on, I've been looking at this completely the wrong way. There is a different avenue that I could have taken, or maybe there's a different thing that I'm not looking at, an answer somewhere that I'm not looking at. And then you've gone down that avenue maybe, and then you found a different, you know, it's opened itself up to you. Have you ever had sort of, I don't know, light bulb moments like that?
Well, I have to say, Parasense, the research for Parasense really did set aside some of that doubt. Because a lot of times when you have those experiences, those personal experiences throughout your years in the field, you know, being at the right place at the right time, you second guess yourself, you know, and rightfully you should. You can't just always accept everything as proof to the paranormal. You should always second guess yourself and try to validate that experience. And, you know, throughout the years, I've had those situations where I saw something, I felt something, I heard something. But then at the end of the day, I'm always second guessing myself. You know, was it really paranormal? You know, could it be something psychological? Was it just a trick of the light? You know, so I think with Parasense, when we got to the point where we were able to track the phenomena for the first time in history and see things happening at the moments that the subject felt something or experienced something, that right there was like, holy crap, there is something to this. And that's where I was just like, wow. And you see it in the documentary. I actually get emotional. I started to cry because it's like, this is happening. That it removes some of that doubt, that second guessing myself, because here's the data, here's the ones and zeros that validate that experience.
Yeah.
Ross, I must say that from the documentary, the young lad that went to in the prison that got attacked.
Oh, bless him,
Is he still talking to you? Are you still friends?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because he had such a traumatic experience, but he went back for more.
And that was the whole reason of taking him back, is because his first experience, he was running out of that prison stark naked, screaming for me and his brother. He was so terrified. And so that was one of the reasons why I brought him back, because I wanted to know, was there something. He was hesitant. but he understood how important it was for the research, and he believed in that, and so that, was good for us. That I think he wanted answers as well, especially after having such a startling experience. I think there was that curiosity for him to know what was going on, and we went in better prepared for the second time around.
Oh,
We
bless
now
him.
had
He
more
was,
equipment to, hopefully validate his experience.
I
what a
felt awful for
star.
that young woman.
Yeah.
Bless her. I bet you've not spoken to her again, have you?
She's still within our circles. I haven't talked to her personally since then, but yeah.
I think that would have put me off. What happened to her ankle? That would have
Oh, the
that
bruises
would
on
have
her
made me.
ankle, yeah.
Yeah, that was nasty, wasn't it? To be fair to her, bless her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised she sort of want to stay within the circle. To be honest with you, after that. But again, I think the whole thing, like, I mean, have you got the same perception as me? I think the whole thing is a learning curve, right from the start to the day that I hang my equipment up. It's going to be a learning curve. I think you never stop challenging yourself, and I don't think you should never stop questioning yourself. I don't think you should.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, you've got a lot of people out there that claim that they know everything. They have all the answers. They know exactly what's happening out there. And let's be honest, we don't. We're still at the
No.
very beginning of the race.
Yes.
Still
Yeah.
so much because it hasn't been done properly. The field has not been documented properly to give us an answer as to what's going on. We're basing it all off of our belief system as to what we feel is going on out there. And now, because of media's push and attention to this, we're now getting to the elements like, forget ghosts. It's all demons now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that next.
Flavor changes, doesn't
That's
it?
the big push now. Is it because it's scarier? It's more
Or it's a little girl, and if it's a little girl, it's a demon.
Oh, if it's a blonde
yeah.
girl, it's a demon, isn't it?
And the proof of that is just from what we get from people contacting us to do investigations. Because I run a ghost here in Washington, the Advanced Ghost Centers of Seattle, Tacoma, and most people that contact us, they want us to get rid of their demons. And it's just like, that's been the biggest thing. It's no longer questioning if it's a ghost or not. It's they already are in the mindset that it's a demon, and we need to come in and get rid of it. And I'm just like, well, please at least give us a chance to observe your environment and see what's going on. Or why do you even think that it is a demon? What gives you that idea? And they get to arguing with you. It's like, I know what a demon is.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Thing is, Ross, when I was in Oregon, I noticed that cannabis has been legalized. So there's a lot of people that are, well, not a lot, but some that do this thing in their own home, and they're having their little trips and parties and seeing all sorts out of the corner of their eyes. So while this is going on, I suppose the demon thing is going to rise, isn't it? They're all going to think, is a demon in my house when you're just high.
And that's only because the media has chosen to make that the hot topic.
It's definitely a pushed agenda, isn't it?
You watch a lot of these shows now, and that's mainly what they're talking about now.
Yeah, it's definitely a pushed agenda. And I think that 99% of the time, the only demons that they've got are the ones that they're dealing with their own heads.
Yeah,
I think it's their perception of what It's like, do you really think that if that was a demon that you'd still be sitting here talking to me?
Right.
Ross, how do you stay so calm with these people that are clearly?
It's hard because a lot of people are so misguided. You not
think that they're a bit loopy themselves?
I don't think that they're loopy. It's just the fact that they're given the wrong information, and they run with it. And the biggest problem is, a while back, there used to be a group in our area that used to promote demons as well. And so when they got called in to do an investigation, and then they convince the owner that, yes, it is a demon, and they do nothing about it, they just leave them with this information and then walk away from the situation. They're calling us to help them. They're like, this group told us we have a demon in our home. Can you please get rid of it?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait a minute, now we're in a situation where yes, there's counseling involved. You know,
Yeah.
we're not professional counselors here, but there is a lot of psychological counseling involved in these situations where you're talking these people off the ledges.
Yeah.
Because they're so convinced, because so many ill-trained individuals are giving them the wrong information.
Yeah. We got some questions. We got some questions in the chat. Oh my God.
I'll tell you what, though, just a quick one. I had a guy I used to work with who was a medium, was actually a good medium, to be fair to him. And he was the first one that pointed out to me, he said, well, you know, if it's blonde and it's young, it's a little girl, it's a demon. And my question was to him, well, when's a little blonde girl stop being a demon and just be a little blonde girl? Because surely there's many of them that have passed over through the centuries.
Oh my God.
Right,
does that mean that all redheads really don't have souls?
Yeah. I think there's an element of truth in that, though.
No, according to Dan, all the redheads stink of piss and ginger biscuits.
And a little bit of shit.
You guys are going to be getting some hate mail, you know that, right?
You know,
Right, are you ready for these? I'm going to start from the beginning, so apologies if I repeat them.
Okay.
So we're just going to go through the highs. Quick hi, everyone. Williams in the house.
Mr. Williams, Southey, good man.
Eric. And Nettie's in the house. They're all saying hello to each other. Mm-hmm. Hi, Bri. Irene's in Japan and it's 4 a.m.
Wow. You are dedicated, Irene. You are dedicated.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, James.
Oh, she just always has issues because we had issues with connectivity earlier. Right, so here's one. This month we are supposed to make sticky rice balls and watch the rabbit pound sticky rice on the moon. It's kind of like celebrating the harvest moon, I suppose, Japanese style.
Oh, it sounds interesting.
Sticky rice balls.
Sticky rice balls are nice.
It's about anime and Japanese culture.
Someone I think that was in reference to the Lego.
Yep.
William
really went back there.
So William said he spent most of his time studying alchemy.
He's a very interesting man, is our William.
What do you think about alchemy, Ross? If you do know much about it, have you looked into alchemy? And
not really. I think there is an interesting element to alchemy. I know back in the days when they were trying to convert common minerals into gold, you know, that type of stuff. Yeah. I think it's fascinating. I keep an open mind to it all. You know, again, you know, it's just like ghosts. You have to keep an open mind to it because we don't have all the answers. It's all trial and error, and I think it's fascinating when it comes to all kinds of different elements. You know, even when it comes to psychic phenomena, you know, you have to keep an open mind. There's been some many amazing documented cases where individuals have had some pretty interesting psychic experiences. You know, I know I've had some myself. I don't claim to be a psychic or sensitive, but I think that there is an element within us all, you know, that fight or flight system.
Definitely.
That is there for our own, you know, safety. So I think there is something to that we really, a lot of us haven't really tapped into.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Robert said needing a laptop that can record sounds that are very sensitive. So do you think it's a good idea to bring laptops on investigation and actually use them as a piece of equipment?
I don't think if you're running programs, yes. For recording sound, I think you can get some decent audio equipment, maybe through hooked up to your laptop to record. But people need to also understand that, having the most sensitive microphone is great, but you're also going to pick up sounds that you didn't hear audibly through the ear. So you could easily mistake those as paranormal phenomena. So you have to be really careful when you're doing things like that. The more sensitive equipment, the more aware you have to be of your surroundings, of things that you could pick up. I've had people, walk around with the recorders and they don't realize that their clothes are making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I always teach my members. Walk around in your home. If your clothes are making lots of noise and wearing a nylon jacket, and it's making that rustling noise every time you move, that just screws up your whole EVP session if you're trying for EVP. People need to be aware of the noises that they make themselves.
Yeah.
So, you just have to be careful when you're using more sensitive equipment.
Dan, you read this one.
I did an investigation on Hiroshima for a paranormal. Oh, but that was awful. For a paranormal group, and the group leader said I had nothing because I didn't use equipment, and they wanted the spirits to jump out and say it's me. Because you can't do that, and they didn't like my cat balls. So I talked to them and did my best to show the public which spirit I was talking to, and the spirits only wanted me interacting with them, and it was hard.
Cool.
I'll bet that was that's a dark place to investigate, Hiroshima. Not because of the people that died.
I'd love to go out there again.
I bet I'd love to go to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
All ghosts are on the Ethernet. The problem is talking to the spirit and understanding how to communicate. Don't know.
And that's the thing, is we don't know exactly what we need, the right tools. One of the things that I am confident in is your basic recorder. Sometimes even people forget our old school ways, getting a standard, cassette recorder and going out and doing recorders, that's our roots. That's where it all started. There is something to that as well.
Then we've
that is that magnetic in the actual tape itself, isn't it?
Yeah. We talk about it.
Some theories behind that as well. Yeah.
Ross hits the win. Gives it what was beyond white noise.
What is beyond the white noise? They're talking about white noise disconnecting the antenna on spirit boxes. But you know what? You can disconnect the antenna so you don't receive FM, but you've still got AM pulsing through there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And Rob says Ross is so political. Didn't Skunk and Nancy sing a song about being political? I'm so political.
I can't remember.
I'm going to send that. Oh, shut up! I'm going to send that to you, Ross. You can't rely on technology because it can be anything or anyone or any spirit in the room.
Yeah.
It's nice, though, to have, and this is where we also fail as paranormal investigators, is we're not utilizing enough equipment to help validate our experiences.
Yes.
Most people will just run out there with an EMF detector and a recorder or their spirit box, and that's pretty much about it. That is extremely limited amount of data if you do get something that could be possible paranormal.
Rob says, and people think they're speaking to spirits, but Frank Sumption taught us it's aliens. Aliens! You've been speaking to Mark. Ovuluses are fun for pretend.
They are.
Oh, the ovulus is the worst. Oh my God.
Do you know, it's funny when they pick them up, people don't know about the ovulus. So here's the ovulus, put in their hand, and they go, hello?
Oh, yeah, like a phone.
I think it's hilarious.
No, the science doesn't even make sense when it comes to the ovulus. It's funny that people are running out there to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these devices, and it's a thing that if you're not familiar with the ovulus, one of the things I have to explain to people is how it works. All right, so let's say you're going to put 5,000 words in the ovulus. Okay, so it's programmed to know these 5,000 words. those 5,000 words are divided up into various different banks. So if you're going to put, 100 words in one bank, that means that whatever triggers that bank, it's going to pull a word out from that bank. So let's say it's the temperature. So you put, let's say you put 50 words in one bank. All right. So whenever it hits a certain temperature, it's going to pull a word from that bank. All right.
Right.
And it chooses what word it's going to be, claiming that the spirit's choosing it. So it has an option from 50 words, sometimes 10 to 50 words it can choose from that has that one temperature triggered. All right. So that right there makes it interesting, because you're assuming that the spirit knows exactly how an ovulus works. Like when you die, it's given the instruction booklet, like, oh, here's the ovulus, you guys. Now you need to, if you want to communicate to the living, you need to know that you got to hit this temperature to be able to get that one word. And hopefully it picks the right word for you. So there's that. And then we're also to assume that spirit has the ability to even hit those temperatures or EMF fields by command.
Right.
You can't assume that. If you say, hey, ghost, can you make the room, 63.3 degrees for us, please? Can we assume that spirit has that ability?
That always sounded like pie in the sky to me.
Ross, what happens when, I have an ovulus. I never use dictionary mode. I think it's ridiculous. I use phonetics. And so you get the sounds of the words that come out. Now, I've had that's ovulus for years. I'm getting full sentences out of that ovulus on the phonetics mode. And just using that ovulus alone, now, you're going to think I'm crazy now, but is it coincidence? We got given a name. The name that whoever it was said to Dan, like Dan had broken his foot. And straight away, when Dan started talking, it said, "Are you okay, dear?"
And it gave us, didn't it?
It gave us a lot of information in a prison. Up, dead, a name, a year. Did it give us the year, Dan? I can't remember. It gave us so much, but when we took it to the curator, we didn't tell them we had this ovulus. We just said, oh, was there anybody in this prison called Brooks? She held all of the records of every single prisoner that came through that door. No Brooks. She then said, was it male or was it female? Do you think it could be female? So we said, we don't know. Can you check the females list if you can't find it on males? There was a female called Brooks where she was saying up and death, wasn't she? And gone. She was accused of something, taken to the marketplace and hung on the gallows. Up, gone. Her name was something Brooks, accused of witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yeah.
And stayed in that prison. Now, this is just all from an ovulus, and we've walked into this prison, and it looks like a modern male prison. You would never.
So, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but I need to be honest for you guys. A lot of these devices are utilizing voice recognition, so they can actually hear what you're saying and repeat it, just like you dictate, on your software.
Yeah.
They can do that. And also with the GPS systems now, they can actually know exactly where you are.
I know where you are.
And so when it knows where you are, it has its own little bank of words that it's going to spew out.
Oh.
So it knows, oh, I'm at this prison, so I need to say these words.
Right.
Especially when a lot of these places are well-known, documented haunted locations. That's how it's so easy for the technology to fool you.
Which is why we were getting French words.
Pre-recorded words and sayings, then it can take advantage of that.
But
which is why we were getting French. We were getting French words at the Norman Castle.
But see, with the ovulus, it wasn't known. It's not put out on public knowledge. People are not interested in that because that's boring, the women that stayed there. It was the men and their crimes and the Cray twins and the famous ones, you know. That's what's in the public domain, not about these boring old women.
Right.
So it's just really strange.
It's one of those things that, you know, unfortunately, and you know, I'm not saying that RVP doesn't happen. It needs to be more documented correctly, and as I said, more experiments need to be done to help validate these experiences.
Yeah.
Because the phenomena has been recorded since the 1950s. You know, but is it done correctly, or are we putting ourselves in a situation where it's so easy for us to be manipulated into believing that we're speaking to ghosts?
Yeah.
So we need to, as you know, as we've said, we need to challenge ourselves as investigators to help find the right answers. But you also have to be careful too, because there are a lot of people out there that will take advantage of us as investigators in producing bad equipment, false equipment. Because when you go in and you get the answers that you're looking for or the responses that you're hoping for, then it makes it all so much easier for ghost hunting, and it makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
and so we just have to be more careful, cautious in our ways of perceiving the paranormal.
Yes.
Now, could a spirit communicate through a voice box, you know, a radio signal? It's very possible.
Maybe.
Are you at the right place at the right time and a spirit did call out your name through a spirit box? It is possible. But is there more chances that you will actually get more of a suggestive sounds like your name?
Yeah.
Dan sounds pretty similar to a lot of other words.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly,
and it's so easy to say, oh, you know, I hear Tan, but everybody else hears Dan, or I hear Dan, you know? So we have to be careful of those things as well, because we can be at fault. There is human error, and there's more human error to this than there are true paranormal experiences.
Yeah. Eric's saying, so Ross, you are the person to ask, should I stop trying to make equipment? Because he's making REM pods.
No. I would, you know, and this is where I was saying too, the biggest problem we have is there are people out there that are willing to manipulate the audience because they're willing to spend big bucks on their equipment that they falsified.
Yeah.
You got to be aware of that. Just like, you know, there's that amazing miracle diet pill out there, you know, you'll lose 150 pounds overnight. People will buy that stuff, you know, for that instant gratification. It's the same thing in the paranormal world. There are people out there that will manipulate the ghost hunters because they know you will spend the money. All right. So we all have to be careful. So if there are people out there that are just honest, that just want to produce an equipment and they seem to get results on it, and I keep an open mind too. I don't have anything horrible to say about REM pods. It's just devices that, you know, are triggered by various changes in the environment. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're looking for. But we need more than that. And, you know, if he wants to reach out to me, and I would love to talk to somebody who builds equipment, because I have a lot of ideas, especially with all of my experiments out there. You know, like I said, we're the first with our Spectre system to be able to track the phenomena. And I think there's a lot more that we could be doing if we had the right individuals to back us, to produce the right equipment. And unfortunately, the people that are out there, you know, who are building the right equipment, the honest equipment, and they're not always getting the results that everybody's hoping for, the excitement, no one's going to spend the money on them. You're not going to give them a fair chance, you know?
So answer your question, Eric.
Thank you, Ross. Just put that there quickly. Thank you, Ross, he says.
Awesome.
We've missed something really important. So just got to say hello to Nicola. Hi,
hello, Nicola.
And Nettie.
And
Dan.
I'll sing next time. I feel very good.
No, just sing with Ross.
No, I feel like crap. Honestly, I don't feel. I'll sing next. I'll sing a love song for you next time, Chantel.
Do you know what, Ross? Chantel and Dan are having this like online love affair.
No, I'm
Terry
having it.
felt-
She's shaking her head and going, "Oh, for God's sake, I'm going to call the police."
They hate each other, really, but
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, I love her. She hates me. I've got used to that with women now, so you know.
So Cliff says we put digital recorders around the area that we are investigating and keep them running. When I pay them back through VLC player, where you can change the frequency to pick up what the team did not hear correctly, and the voices they didn't pick up.
I'm not sure what they're saying here.
I don't know what VLC is. VLC player? Don't know.
No, I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure either.
Chantel says, I find with investigations on live or on Facebook, etc., is that the investigators don't be quiet long enough to hear responses anyway, or stay still enough long enough to see movement. Therefore, anything relevant is no longer valid.
True.
Good point.
Very
That's so true. Yep.
It's true.
And it's hard too, because most people, when they do things like that, they feel like when they're going live, you feel like you have to. It's your job to entertain the audience. You know, I've been guilty of it myself.
Oh, thanks, Cliff.
And so it's one of those things that, if you're going to be doing a serious investigation, you have to have those moments where everybody is just being completely still and being quiet. And
Dan tells me off for breathing. He said, I can hear.
That's nothing to do with being noisy, though.
Do you know what? Oh, God. That investigation when I saw stuff. Oh, no, it's just your eyes. Just sit down and be quiet. Because I see something move past me so fast.
That was weird. That was weird.
Split second, and it was so close to me, I could have touched it.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, no, it's just your eyes. And then when the darkness came and the colour of it changed, because I saw it grey, shades of grey. When it got dark, it turned black. And it was zipping along really fast, like...
That's weird.
Do you know, it just defies all rationalisation that it could be here and then right the way down the other end of the street, literally.
I've got it moved.
Well, see, and we've been able to validate that. When with Parasense and the Spectre system, we found that a lot of this activity is almost like being hit by lightning. It's just, so quick.
It was
and if you think about it, simple science explains that's how energy would move. It would be so quick. And
there was 4 of them in one place. And because there was 4 of them, I saw 4. Dan, I think you saw 3 of them, didn't you?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, we saw 4 individuals, didn't we? But I'm beginning to wonder if that was one individual, but could just divide itself.
It was just crazy.
That was the weirdest thing. Because you could see them, a couple of them you could see more or less at the same time, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. We're going to take Ross to that place.
I've never experienced anything like it.
And hopefully Ross can experience for himself. Hopefully, because you don't know when it's going to happen. It's just pot luck.
It was amazing. Phenomenal. It was just mind-blowing.
I bet.
Terry Two Willies is in the house.
Hello, Terry. How you doing? Well, bud?
Yoo-hoo, Lorna.
Are you, Lorna?
That's his nickname, Terry Two Willies. He hasn't really got 2 willies.
Sorry, Viv. Chantel's put here. AI is only a factor with absent devices that are connected to internet. Sweeping radios and some proper ITC devices have no connectivity. Therefore, one less false positive at least.
Well, it's one of the things you do have to be aware of is how advanced the technology is, how easy it is to manipulate the user of the technology. Think about, Alexa and Siri. We are now at an age where you can ask your phone a question and you can get an answer. That technology can easily be slipped into a lot of the devices that we use.
Yeah.
Where you can ask a question it's not the ghost speaking back to you. It's the technology.
Yeah.
It's the AI that can easily answer those questions for you. So it makes it so much more easier for us to be manipulated in wanting to believe it's ghosts. But you can't do that with a cassette recorder.
No.
You know, another
No.
thing that people need to be aware of too, with a lot of these, spirit boxes and stuff like that, they've set them up to where they can also pick up CB radios. You know, you're thinking it's just
Yes.
radio stations, it's CB radios. And a lot of times, and I've seen this happen with some of the shows that manipulate the spirit boxes, they can actually have somebody on a radio as it's scanning. They'll hear the question and then get on their CB and start answering the question for them. And the spirit box will pick it up. That's one of
Wow.
the things that can easily manipulate the audience, especially for television. Those are the tricks of the trade that they do to make it exciting, because, oh my God, I asked a question and there's the answer. That's because somebody was on a CB radio and the spirit box picks it up and they were responding to their question.
Yeah. Never thought about CB radios, because it's sort of died. CB
a
died
lot
a
of those
death over here,
devices
didn't
pick
it?
up CB as well.
It's going to be coming back again now, isn't it? Apparently, it's making a big surge back. That'll be interesting.
So that's another trick of the trade you have to be aware of.
Well, we're aware of you. We love what you do and what you do for us. We're excited to see what comes next.
Always.
We can't wait for you to come over to the UK, and when you're over here, we'll try and set something up so some of the public can come and meet you. Maybe do a showing of Power and Sense, and you do giving a talk, and if people want to buy tickets and come and meet the man, one of the men behind it. Yeah,
do that. Excellent.
If you can get Chad over here, then great.
He tends to be a little more busy. He's got a bunch of companies that he runs, but yes,
is he?
I would definitely love to have him out there.
Yeah, and we'll just do an evening with evening with Ross. I think it would be amazing.
That'd be
you
great.
will get heckled by me and Dan, of course, right at the back of the auditorium. We'll have to heckle.
But we normally only last 10 minutes before they throw us out.
Ross will be going, "Can you two leave?" What fun that would be, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Good. We're going to have to make that happen. Definitely got to make that happen.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, so we'll definitely
can't wait to see you, buddy. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. But our show has come to an end, I'm afraid. We've actually gone over time, so by 10 minutes, Ross is going to start charging me, for his time and everything. I told him I'd pay him in kind.
It balances out with all the nice things you say about me. I think, it kind of balances itself out.
Well, I told Ross I'd pay him in kind, but he wasn't interested. Oh, shit, my mum's watching. Hi, Kathleen!
Hello, Vince's mum.
That's Ross' mum.
Sarah, Louise didn't say hello. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
It's all right there. Sorry, Sarah. It just skipped through. Sorry.
Mum, when Ross comes over, we're coming round for tea and you're cooking. Is that all right?
I'm going to sit quietly, like listening for waiting for an EVP.
Quiet. He's not waiting for an EVP. Wait for a response.
Maybe you should turn on the spirit box. She may answer you through that.
Oh, bless her. You'd like my mum, actually. You'd like her better than me. Right, so we are back next Wednesday with another super duper guest. Oh, she said yes, Ross.
Awesome.
There you go.
Mum's house is Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we have a super duper guest coming on the show. She leads and owns the Old Haunts Paranormal. And we have so many questions to ask her. So we are quite excited to have Kylie Davis with us next week.
She's common as muck and twice as cheeky.
But Ross, I'm definitely going to see you next year, hopefully, whether you come
definitely,
here
buddy,
or I come over there, because I keep threatening William I'm coming, so we'd have to stop off and see you and hang out if you're able to. So
you bet.
I think it's going to be great. But we will catch up with you towards the end of this year to see what you've been doing throughout your busy period.
You bet. I'm getting ready to leave. I get ready to leave for my lecture tour soon. So yeah,
We'll get some of the
mid-October.
gossip.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds
Definitely.
good.
Right, so we're going to say good
Thanks,
night,
Ross.
everyone. Thanks for watching and thanks for supporting us as usual.
Thanks,
And thanks for your
guys.
questions to Ross. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.